From Clarkwoods.com, this is Chris, and welcome to Horribly Off Blah Blah Blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Are you making fun of me?
No.
No.
That's not how you sound at all.
He would never do that.
Okay, this is something I used to do in college.
Okay.
When you're doing an impression of somebody, and you can't actually replicate how they sound.
Yeah.
You basically say, I'm so-and-so, and then you say, because there was this guy, and I'm just going to say his full name. If you want to bleep it, you're more than welcome to.
Okay.
His name was Brian Juris.
Okay.
He was the music director of WDJM.
Okay.
The radio station. So he's sort of a public figure, right?
Yeah. In that capacity, I think, yeah.
And so...
I mean, I guess whether or not I bleep it all depends on what you say next.
So basically what...
So
I would just,
I mean, if there are sex dolls involved,
there's no sex, and I would
if there's peanut butter shoved into various orifices where it doesn't belong.
I would do this on my show, the old school simulated itch relief. I think I have the last couple of my shows recorded.
Of the radio show.
Yeah, the actual radio show recorded, and I should give you those, and then you can pick those apart.
I had all. I think we've talked about this before, but I had all of those from my radio days, and I threw them all out a year or so ago because I didn't have a tape player anymore, and I was in one of those purging moods, and I regret it now because I probably could have. We could
have played clips of it on the show and made fun of it.
Yeah, you know.
Well, we can do that with my old show.
Yes.
There's actually there was one that I haven't made it more than 5 minutes through. Because I was completely blacked out through the entire thing, and I'm like, I can't listen to this. So what I would do an impression of him, because like I did a talk show of sorts. I mean, I played some music just to like break up
the talk,
because like, you know, what we do for an hour
is okay,
is pretty good, but I had a 2-hour show.
2-hour show.
So basically, I would always, every show I would always play Disco Inferno so I could take a leak and have a cigarette.
Yeah, you knew, and it's important to have that song because you know it's timed. You know how much time you have got for the leak. You know how much time you get for the cigarette.
I usually would get back with about 2 minutes left of the song because it's about an 11-minute song.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah.
Not unlike you, Steve.
Oh, stop.
Aww.
So yeah, I would do the show, and then we would always clash because we had to play certain music that was in rotation or something.
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
And I would be like, I don't want to play any of it because I don't want to I don't play very many songs anyway.
Right.
And I don't want the few songs that I do play to be songs that I don't want to play.
See, and that's where, you know, as we've said on the show, we're only a couple years apart, but by the time you were doing you went to a couple different colleges and took some time off here and there. So, long story short.
What are you, Colin Quinn?
I
did this one-man show. Long story short, why not? That's my Colin Quinn, everybody.
By the time I was finishing up my radio career at WHAT 87.9 FM, Bradford College Radio, there were people who were coming in who were trying, I forget what the name of this sort of group was or the initiative, but there were people who were coming in to try and take over the TV studio. We didn't really have a TV, like the video studio, video production, radio production, and make it way more professional. And so they really wanted to start institute, like what you were saying, the stuff that was on the air, put stuff into rotation, kind of have management of the playlists. And the rest of us who had been doing it for 3 or 4 years, we were just like, no. And either we kind of stopped doing our shows or skirted the rules for that final year. And if Bradford had stayed open, it probably would have ended up in the same place that your college radio station was, where they wanted a certain number of songs, and to keep it professional, to keep it college radio professional as opposed to professional. I don't know.
So
it was horse shit.
I eventually won the battle because I'm tenacious sometimes. So I would go on my show, and my impression of Brian Juris was, "Ooh, I'm Brian Juris. I want you to play rotation on your radio show." Ooh, and that was it.
Which is a pretty good. That's one of the sort of standard. I think you were saying one of the standard imitations when you can't do the person's voice, right?
I could do an amazing Colin Quinn.
You can do an amazing Colin Quinn. I cannot.
Writing a book.
Writing a book. No,
actually, his one man show was fantastic. I went to see. I've seen both of them. I saw the first one that he did on the HBO.
Yeah,
it was that was Long Story Short, and the one that he did recently was about the Constitution. I forget what the frick it was called, but I saw it up in Keene, New Hampshire.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not a bad place to. Where in Keene?
They have like a theater right in the center of town.
Because we're getting local for you.
No. We're not local for us.
No.
Keene's a little bit of a haul from here.
Well, I mean, it's New England. It's
okay.
It's more local than Lafayette Square might be for some of our listeners.
Where's Lafayette Square?
I think it's in New Orleans. We're gonna get email if I'm wrong.
They're gonna be. You could put the typing sound.
In. Dear Chris and Steve, you are douches. Lafayette Square is not in New Orleans. That is in blah blah blah. No.
So yeah, Brian
it is also not in the woods, Chris and Steve. Where no, I'm getting it all wrong. We're gonna get lots of email. So I'm trying to make fun of people and failing miserably.
You're trying to make fun of our listeners, so they send us email so we have more material.
Well, there you way to break the fourth wall there, but Colin Quinn, Quinn, local comics. Where is Kevin Nealon from? Do you know Kevin Nealon? Is he local?
I know who Kevin Nealon is.
Okay, so the reason I asked that is
I don't think he's local.
A bunch of people in Portsmouth were that I know were tweeting and Facebooking about Kevin Nealon showing up at their shows this weekend. So Kevin Nealon was at, I want to say, South Pacific at the Rep in Portsmouth over the weekend.
Was he performing?
No,
or
he was
there
in the audience watching.
No, but did he have any other shows like around the area? Was he at the Wilbur or something?
That's a good question. I do not know. And then Tuesday night he showed up at the Stranger Than Fiction at the Players Ring, where you and I have done work before.
Yeah,
and was in the house for their completely improv musical. And apparently took some pictures with them and whatnot. And so I was just wondering if you had any knowledge of whether Nealon was local, because it just
I don't know.
Maybe
he's just on vacation. I mean, this is a good vacation-y area.
It is a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, going up to actually last week, we were just going to Salisbury, and I play a lot of pinball. I played some this past Wednesday, and we could talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. But like Becky and I were going to Salisbury last Friday.
Okay.
And when we were on the way there, it just started pouring rain down on us.
That's right. I remember that.
And then it started hailing.
Hail is fun.
It's weird because it's like frozen.
Hale-Bopp Was More Fun, just saying.
The people that drank the Kool-Aid and committed suicide.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
That was a hoot. I'm sorry, it was hailing.
I was sailing.
Sailing away. Is that no,
sailing takes me away. Your name is Christopher. You should be able to sing Christopher
remember.
Cross.
I think that one is on a list that I saved to Apple Music earlier this week. It was like rocking out to the 80s or like 19. I don't know. It was Apple Music.
That was one of the ones. I think that was on the second episode of Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock.
You never watched Yacht Rock?
I've never watched Yacht
YouTubes?
Rock. I have not.
It's definitely worth the first one is first one, and like I think the first and the last one are my favorites. The first one is Michael McDonald is trying to figure out a song because he just joined the Doobie Brothers, and he's like, they want me to write a hit song or they're going to kick me out of the band.
Yeah.
And then so Kenny Loggins comes along and helps him write What a Fool Believes.
Of course he does.
And then it becomes a hit. And then the last one is like Kenny Loggins gets kidnapped.
I like it already. I'm sold.
And they're by Jimmy Buffett because they're trying to get him to sing a movie theme.
Which is, I mean, the funny thing, like that's all I knew Kenny Loggins from. And then when Stephanie and I sort of merged our CD collections post college. I think she might have had a Kenny Loggins CD,
and had a lot of other songs besides Footloose.
Yeah, and maybe it was
and Danger Zone.
It could have been Stephanie and I. I had a friend Rachel who also made me mixtapes around that time, and she might have been the one that like put on a song by Kenny Loggins, and I was like, wait, this is not Footloose or Danger Zone, or no.
Some Loggins and Messina there.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I was flabbergasted. Flabbergasted, that's a fun word.
Yeah,
flabbergasted.
So
it was hailing.
I need to finish up with Kenny Loggins.
Oh, Kenny Loggins.
So they're like Michael McDonald and who the hell was who's the guy that's in that Yamo Be There song?
All I can think of when you say Yamo Be There is Paul Rudd's joke from the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I don't get any further than that, and now all I can think of is Paul Rudd.
Oh, get a boner?
Yeah, that's why I got the box over my crotch. I'm just trying to hide it.
Yeah, just in case I brought up Paul Rudd.
Rudd,
I was hailing on the way there.
Now the box is across the room.
But it's insane, like that kind of like. It's insane.
I mean, it popped off and flew across the room. Not that it was that.
Everybody
long,
got it.
Stretched.
You didn't need to explain.
Yeah, no.
But like it's insane, like whether like that can happen, because it's like, I mean, we are in New England and temperatures up here tend to be a little bit cooler than down south, or like in Florida or other part, or maybe Nolans. It's definitely less hot here than it is down there, but it was pretty warm this past week, and I think last Friday it was like at least in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so it's like weird when like ice is falling down on your car.
It is weird
when it's 80 something degrees.
I've never understood hail. Never quite.
Anybody who's a meteorologist out there that listens to the show, send us an email.
Yeah, explain hail to us.
Explain hail to us, or Hale-Bopp.
Or Hale-Bopp. That'd be fun too.
Yeah,
thunder snow. Have you ever experienced thunder snow?
Because it's like when you get a nice blizzard in the winter.
Yeah.
There's just like weird atmospheric stuff that's happening.
I mean, it's like a thunderstorm, except that it's snowing. It's snowing.
Okay, this is just showing my ignorance, and I'm like, I'm very much not a scientist, but like, does the lightning travel through the snow, and can you get electrocuted? Will it like electrically charge the snow?
I don't know.
If you like your Charlie Brown, like eating your January snow,
that's true.
Are you gonna get like a zap?
That would serve Charlie Brown right. I mean, well, or not serve him right, but that would be something that would happen to Charlie Brown.
They're making a Peanuts movie.
They are making a prenup. They're making a Peanuts movie.
They're making a prenup movie. Everybody,
no, that's not what I said.
Go out there and get a prenup before you get married.
No, what I said was even worse. It was a pre-nuts movie. So that's. I don't know what a pre-nuts movie is. I'm trying to remember back to our conversation about
prenups.
Transsexuals and transgendered individuals.
Oh, pre-nuts.
Which one is pre-nuts?
Well, the woman that's going to be transitioning to a man would be pre-nuts,
right?
But like,
all
right. So,
here's
another question:
But is that a trans man or a trans woman? I can't remember anymore.
I think whatever. It's a trans person. But like, when they make like the package for the lady becoming a man, do they bother with testicles?
I would imagine they put some sort of implant in, would be my guess. You know, because if you're going to be a dude, you need some balls to play with, right?
I don't know, but like if there's no sensation there, like what's the point?
Yeah, well,
why not just have a shaft?
No,
and
but
make
there would be some sensation. Like there would.
You could probably push it in harder, or well, not harder, but like you could probably push it in further if there was no balls to get in the way.
Mm. You say you're not a scientist, but
I'm not a scientist.
But I feel like that
I'm not a scientist.
That is a discovery that was just made. That I don't think anybody's ever quite put it that way. That you would get farther if the balls weren't in the way.
Trans people, like a trans person that's becoming female to male, think about it. Don't bother with the testicles.
Don't bother with the testicles.
Because you don't need them. You don't have like. You're not gonna be producing semen.
Yeah.
So there's no point in having them.
I know, but like, I mean, you and Dan wrote a song about a hobo who scratches his balls.
Plays with his
balls. Didn't he scratch him at one point?
I don't think so.
All right.
Have you listened to the song?
I have listened to the song. I heard it live. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Anyway, he plays with his balls. I mean, I think that the notion is out there. But
the thing is, the reason why he plays with his balls is because it's pleasurable.
Right. But what I never got the chance to finish is that, like, yes, even though the balls themselves might be implants, the skin that is stretched around those implants would have sensitivity, right?
Yeah, I guess. But do they make, like, the sex organs out of the other sex organs?
That's a good question. I don't.
Do they clear out and give you the old...
To some extent, I think they do.
Give you an old hysterectomy and then they fill you up with caulking or something like that? Caulking?
Caulking. Very nice choice of words, Steve. How the hell did we get to talking about...
I don't know. We got horribly off topic. It was good we had a break last week.
It was good.
We're all recharged and ready to go.
Balls of ice coming out of the air? Is that...
Yes.
Okay, balls of ice coming out of the air.
One of the, like, way back in the day, listening to O&A, they talked about these implants that they would put in on dogs. Oh, I need to do the same there. They would put, like, fake nuts in your pet that had been, like, neutered well, not neutered. Well, which one? Neutered. Yeah, neutered is for the guys.
Yeah,
for the guy doggies. And they would put fake nuts in, so it would look like the dog still had testicles.
Yeah, I mean,
they called them nudicles.
We're talking about this. Like the guys and balls is such a big thing that, like, Michael Bay has put balls into his Transformers movies, which of course everyone knows that I hate, but I watch them all anyway.
Like they made the Transformers have balls?
There is one scene in particular, I think it's in the second one, where you get it's the second or third one. I don't know. It's where the Constructicons form Devastator, I think, and one of them, of course, would have had a wrecking ball. I think this is right. One of them had a wrecking ball or two wrecking balls, and the balls actually sort of drop down from between the legs of the new robot, and they're just swinging there. And of course, people also buy, balls for their truck. I've seen
the balls for the truck.
Balls for the truck. I mean, balls are important.
You should get that for your dad. I think he'd like the truck balls.
Like the truck balls. I don't know. I'm not sure that's such a good idea.
Alrighty.
So it was hailing.
Yes, it was hailing, and we got up to Salisbury. I got to play. I played it twice. I played it one. They have a new, because one of the classic pinball machines of yore was Kiss, the Kiss machine, and they've Stern Pinball and give us money. You probably won't, because you probably don't know we exist.
You never know.
They just made the new Kiss pinball, and it has like a bunch of licensed songs in it and whatever.
Oh, okay.
I kept on picking "Lick It Up" just because it was really loud in the arcade, and it's just like "Lick it up, lick it up, oh,
gotta lick it up."
Yeah. And it's just really loud, and I'm just like playing that. But there was another one. Like, I went on Wednesday. Bill and I got together, and we were at Lanes and Games in Cambridge. Mm-hmm. You know the place, right?
Yes. That's the one I haven't been to. We talked about it, but
the one that's right next to Alewife Station.
Yeah, I drive by it, but I've never been in there.
Yeah, he and I met there. We had a couple of brewskis. It was weird. Like, we went upstairs and we were just like shooting the breeze. And we were just talking about stuff, and it was fun catching up because we hadn't seen each other. Like, the last time we hung out was on opening day for the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. So it's been a couple months. So we're just, catching up, talking about some stuff. We had a couple of burgers and some beers. Yeah. Then we went downstairs and played some pinball. They had the Kiss one, the new one. Yeah. And they also had... I sent this picture.
Oh, you sent me this picture. I did see this. I didn't at first, because at first my phone just showed me the text part of your message. But then, yes, that you had a machine here called Whoa Nelly Big Juicy Melons. And Steve, you want to describe what the art on this this machine looks like?
It's just basically they have this woman, blonde woman in Daisy Dukes holding up a couple watermelons in front of her actual bosoms.
Yes, and she, to be fair, she is wearing a bra or bikini top underneath.
Yes, it's not like she's not already covered up.
But, this is not an Austin Powers joke. I mean, but it's pretty close.
But yeah.
And I should say that underneath, so Whoa Nelly, Big Juicy Melons, and then underneath Big Juicy Melons, there's a third subtitle, Ripe and Ready.
Yep.
Ripe and Ready.
So they have this one at the Lanes and Games. It's in the style of an old electromechanical pinball machine. Mm-hmm. It's not like the flippers are really small.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means.
that the guys are saying something about people paying the pinball machine and whether or not they're ripe and ready for
maybe not
for the big juicy melons.
So but so you get 5 balls instead of your normal 3 balls, and it's and the scoring is incredibly low. It's it's like it would roll over at I think 9,999 instead of like.
Oh yeah, there's only 5 numbers.
Or 4, buddy.
4? Oh 4. Okay, no, I'm looking at what ball you're on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yep, 4 numbers.
So yeah, it was an interesting play, but it was just. It's been a thing in pinball for a long time. Remember when it was Brian that was making those
photoshops of us
on pinball machines.
Yes, and I was always my head was always on the woman's body.
Yes,
yeah, I do remember those.
But like almost every single one of them had like women in similar outfits,
right?
Like in cut off short. I mean, I understand why, because the audience, the pinball playing audience is predominantly male,
for sure,
and so you just get this awesome fantasy of like, and you're standing like. I keep on going all around, but like there's like one they have it up at Pinball Wizard. It's like Silver Ball Deluxe or something like that. And there's like this. It's a guy in the background. It's like a silver dude, kind of looks like a little bit like the Silver Surfer without the surfboard.
Okay,
and he's just kind of like. He's like in several pictures in the back, and in one of them he's just like head up in the air, and then he's got his hands on the side of the pinball machine. He's like, ah, and it's just like, oh, that isn't even subtle at all.
No, not at all, not at all.
So you're kind of like embracing this machine like you would be. Taking a woman from behind. Yeah.
See, one of the things that obviously you're right. The audience is predominantly male.
I mean, that's not why I like to play. I like to have, sex with a woman, not with a pinball machine. Although, if someone put a fleshlight right there, I would probably get electrocuted.
You would never leave. Well, but here's the thing, and maybe this is because I suck at pinball, as I suck at.
That was going to be the name of my solo album after the New Sweethearts.
Was I suck at pinball?
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
I still think it's a good name for an album.
Yes. So maybe someone will steal that from me, or I'll do it in the future,
or it'll be the next TNS album.
No, we already have an idea in the works.
Okay.
So
all right.
Let's keep that under your hats.
Keep it under the hats. Maybe it's because I suck at pinball, but I feel like I need something interesting visually on the
back glass.
On the back glass to intrigue me, right? To get me to
some big juicy melons.
Like the Kiss one would get me. Like anything visually interesting to get me there. Something that I'm interested in. A lot of the band ones. Was there an Aerosmith one?
There was not, but there was an AC/DC one, which Brian will love.
Anyway, so like something visually interesting on the backboard there. And then I look at the, to get me to even consider using a quarter on that as opposed to Pac-Man. And then I want something visually interesting on the playing board because you know, for the 10 seconds going to take me to get through all 3 balls, or 5 balls in this case, I want something interesting to look at. So there is that, and I wonder whether or not, you know, they did that with arcade cabinets too, as not just because certainly the arcade cabinets didn't have the graphics to show until much later to show you the buxom ripen ready big juicy melons.
I'm gonna full disclosure here, and please don't judge me.
Okay,
I went to see Pixels.
Not judging.
I was just curious. I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see it anyways. Yes. I don't know why. I really don't.
It's a little bit like rubbernecking. Like it's a car accident. You just can't.
It wasn't even as interesting as a car accident.
Okay.
There was neat,
Can they put that on the poster?
Pixels, not as interesting as a car accident. I don't know. There was cool things in the movie.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler was not one of them.
No, he rarely ever is.
I mean, he has, in the past done good stuff. Punch Drunk Love, he was good in.
I remember liking that one. Yeah.
And of course, the first 2 movies that he did, Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, are fun, and he had energy back then. But he was basically just, and basically it was a very similar plot to that Futurama episode where it was Anthology of Interest 2, and it was basically like a 10. Maybe not even 10-minute part of that episode.
Oh God! Okay.
It was the exact same plot,
and they expanded it to 2 hours. Was it 2 hours?
It was not 2 hours.
Okay,
right. You could not have made that
small
movie 2
favors.
Hours. But the special effects, the pixel effects, they were interesting.
Sure.
They were cool.
Conceptually, that movie had me when I first saw it, and then I saw it as an Adam Sandler flick, and I was like, and then heard the reviews, and it's just so I have not seen it.
At the beginning of the movie, Josh Gad's younger self is talking to this buxom woman on the side of a video game cabinet. This is where the segue is.
Segue.
You can edit that part out.
Which guarantees it stays in.
Yes. And basically definitely spoilers, but I don't give a shit. Maybe I shouldn't even have said spoilers. This is not a spoiler.
This is not a spoiler. You
at
can't
the end
spoil
of the movie,
a movie that's already rotten.
At the end of the movie, this woman that he's professing his love to as a child, comes to life as and for some unknown reason, she stops being pixelated and becomes a real person.
Of course she does, because it's an Adam Sandler flick, and it's wish fulfillment.
Yeah, and then look, then he professes his love to her in person, and they just start making out.
Does it end with them getting married?
Yes.
Right?
No, but here's
could I write this movie without
more
ever
spoilers?
Having seen it? Okay.
All right, so each time they win a game, they get a trophy, and the trophy is a video game character.
Yeah.
So the first time they get the Duck Hunt dog, which chronologically doesn't make sense because Duck Hunt came out after they sent the space probe up there and blah blah blah. So, but
that's okay, right? Yep.
So there was lots of plot holes, and I was just wait, Duck Hunt came out in the mid '80s, and they sent the space probe up there in 1982,
right?
And it was basically a combination of V'ger, you remember in Star Trek 1?
Not well.
So basically, we sent out the Voyager probe, and then it comes back as V'ger, and then it's attacking Earth, and that's basically Star Trek 1. Only I'm gonna say less boring. Although the first half an hour of Pixels is just ugh.
Does Dinklage get killed?
No.
Okay, because isn't Dinklage the Donkey Kong expert?
Well, allegedly.
Oh, okay. What I was going to say is the way the trailer is cut, And the way that I'd see it, like I got the impression that like Dinklage was the Donkey Kong expert, except that he dies before they can even face Donkey Kong.
No, there's just go see it.
I'm not going to see it.
It's a romp. Wait for it on Netflix then.
Yeah, maybe I'll add it to my like 50,000 thing long queue.
So at the the first one they get is Duck Hunt Dog, and then the second one they get is Q*bert, who this is like a Jar Jar Binks kind of situation.
Oh no.
Where like Q*bert is just talking, and
does he talk in Q*bertese?
No, he's talking. He says
Ralph
words.
Does it right?
Yes,
you've seen Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
Wreck-It Ralph does it right. Q*bert talks in Q*bertese, and it's funny.
Yeah, and like he actually curses, and then it makes the little thing above his head,
right?
That he was that's supposed to happen when. That's when you win a level in Q*bert. But at the end, like after they win and defeat the games or whatever, like all the pixel monsters disappear, and including the sexy swordsman lady. I forget what her name was.
Gad's lady.
And he's like, "Oh no, I'm so upset." And then they're another thing. Kevin James.
Yeah.
For some or no reason, the president. Because
wait. The like Kevin James, like Paul Blart.
Paul Blart Mall Cop is the president.
Paul
in this movie.
Blart, president of the United States.
Yep.
Title.
So yeah, and like I don't know, whatever. Watch the Red Letter Media half in the bag on it if you want to hear people go into extreme details of why this movie sucked.
Yeah,
but
I heard there were a lot of reviews like that it made people very, very angry in watching the reviews or reading the reviews.
But when there was an action sequence or when like there was some like cool special effects going on, that it was neat. It was. I didn't see it in 3D, but I imagine it would have looked pretty cool. Yeah. Like the Pac-Man scene when they're like racing around the streets of New York and little bugs that are they're being the ghosts and Pac-Man is chasing them around. That's pretty great.
Yeah,
they did a really good job of that.
Conceptually it seems all right.
Which is why I think it was like a short film prior to now, and then they were like, let's make this into a feature, and then everybody now is saying we should have probably just left it. Yeah. At being
10 minutes of Futurama.
Yeah, or Futurama. Well, no, it was actually a short film, Pixels.
Oh, it was? Okay. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Oh, yeah, but back to sexy stuff. Sexy ladies.
I should know, up in the corner of that, I mean, big juicy melons, it also makes mention that it is vine-ripened and hand-picked. Vine-ripened and hand-picked. I've been going around... and in the other corner, packed and stacked somewhere near Chicago, Illinois. I mean, everybody... And here's the thing. Everybody, including the collie, including the dog, it has their tongue out, looking at this woman and her...
I like the guy... There's a guy in the front... You can put this on the show notes, right?
Yes, I will put it in the show notes.
There's the guy eating the melon, and there's just like drool coming off of him and the melon.
Interestingly enough, he is the one whose eyes are not focused.
He's looking at me. He's drooling about me.
Now
he's like, "You're doing a good job playing this pinball, fella."
Is there some like under like a hidden homoerotic tension going on here?
Maybe.
I mean, like she's standing there with the melons, but I mean, like maybe you're banging him, not her.
No. I don't know. But the thing is, like things like this, I don't think are going to go away, and I hope they don't go away because that would be censorship, and I'm not a big fan of that.
Right.
But it's weird, like that we have stuff like that. Like, okay, here's another thing, and here's the...
I just got down to the rest of the picture. I did not realize there was all the goodness that was on the actual game board itself. Complete and utter nonsense coming out of the mouth of a cow.
So this is a different kind of like animal that I'm going to show you right now. Now, and this is our obligatory One Piece reference for the day, so get ready to drink. You don't have to drink, Chris. I mean, we're talking about the audience here. Oh my God, you're gross. All right, so check out this picture. This is one of the characters, Nami, and this is a figure you can buy for, how much does it cost? $80.
$80.
So check that out.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. You got to send me that so I can put it in the show notes.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll figure it out after.
We'll figure it out after.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that... I mean, who is buying that?
I don't know.
There's from different angles, too, but like...
Super One Piece fans.
I know, but...
I mean, you're not buying that, Steve?
No, because, like, I couldn't have that in, like, my home.
No.
I mean, I would probably maybe buy a One Piece figure at some point in my life.
Yeah.
But not that one.
No.
Like, it would be cool to have one of each of the different Straw Hats, but that one is just, like, way too, like, crazy sexy.
Yeah, yeah. You wonder why it's there. I mean, in the same way that a lot of the, like, uber sexy comic book statues of female characters, you kind of wonder what the heck is... who's that for?
I guess people that never leave the house. Remember when I was doing when I had my, I'm not going to talk to women anymore. I'm just going to get a sex doll.
I do remember that.
Last summer.
I think
it was probably a year ago. And I was just like, maybe that's the kind of person.
Yeah,
like that. I was just like, I'm not bothering with actual women anymore. I'm just going to surround myself with sexy Nami statues.
Maybe. I mean, the single dude who doesn't have to have anybody over, who has the single dude who has the studio apartment and never has anybody over.
I try to have people over, but it's not fun because we don't have enough room to do anything.
Right.
So usually people will come over and then we'll go out.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like, but I guess, thinking back on, we mentioned 40-Year-Old Virgin earlier when we were talking about Paul Rudd, and there goes the box again. That 40-Year-Old Virgin and Steve Carell's apartment in that, I don't know that he has anything, like, overtly sexual in there.
Well, the thing is, like, he, prior to everybody kind of bugging him about it, is pretty asexual. He doesn't seem...
Well, yeah, asexual, except one of the visual gag at the beginning of the movie is the morning wood that he's got, and he's trying to pee, right?
Yeah, I mean,
still,
that doesn't mean that he's. But like he's never painted at the beginning of the film to be like a sex obsessed guy,
right? Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he kind of becomes that way because of the pressure of everyone
his
else.
Peers,
his peers of Mr. Paul Rudd and Mr. Seth Rogen. And why they're all Mr. right now, I don't know.
Give me that pen. You're going to click it.
I'm not gonna.
Give me that.
Wait, I'm not clicking it.
You are clicking it. Give me that.
I'm not clicking it. I'm just trying to see how long it takes, Steve. No,
I'm not going to get up and move the mic because then it'll create problems.
I don't know where I was going. Pinball and women. That's
pinball and weird.
Pinball and women.
Oh, here's from the back.
Holy.
Some nice side boob, too.
Oh, my goodness. I don't, I mean, I get it. I get it, certainly in my youth. I was a fan of pinup art as opposed to statues.
Well, this is a pinup statue, basically.
Yeah. And, I mean, so I guess there's a subtle difference. I don't know. One of my favorite
But the thing is, like, pinup art has become sort of acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, as far as having it around.
Sure, yeah.
And I
think mine is packed in a box. The stuff that I still have from.
And there's a lot of women out there that will pose for like something like that as an empowering thing.
Right, yeah. But a statue of a cartoon character with wacky. I mean,
she has an odd expression on her face too, and I don't get it.
Yeah,
like,
and kind of weird.
Look at her mouth is open, and
that is a weird.
This is going to be in the show notes. Don't worry.
This will be in the show notes.
And she's kind of pulling on one of the strings of her bikini bottom.
Which I mean, like that's that part, the pulling on the string or whatever. That's like a classic pinup kind of thing. It's naughty, but in a nice way.
I think the expression is the worst part.
The expression. Well, I don't know if it's maybe the expression is the worst part. I mean, this almost equal to that is
the gargantuan boobs.
The proportions. I mean, the proportions are just way out there because, for the most part, this is a generalization, a broad generalization, or a
generalization about broads.
About broads. Any woman with breasts that size is going to have an awful hard time exercising as much as she would probably have to exercise to have that waistline.
Yeah, and it's not like you can go out jogging because those things would be hitting you in the face.
Right. Yeah. It's so. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, the expression, you guys have to see this. It's in the show notes. Is probably the worst part. I think the second worst part.
Like if you're gonna look, I mean, if they're gonna pick an expression, I would you'd go with sultry and not like.
No, yeah, not like I'm taking a dump or.
It kind of does look like she's taking a dump.
Yeah, it's like, and there's somebody out there.
Oh, let me check the back. Maybe there's a turd coming out the back.
To each their own. There are people who that's their thing, I'm sure, but I think the majority of the people who would be buying the statue are not subscribers to Turd in the Punch Bowl magazine.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to think of what the magazine for people who were interested in pooping would be. I'm thinking of
that's a fetish that I never even got like for a second on board with.
No.
Although there was that one that was. It was like girls that would fart on cakes. I mean, it's not that I found it erotic or in any way, but it is hilarious. And then they just have frosting all over their butts.
There was a podcast that I listened to around the same time that I was listening, or maybe after you guys finished Simulated Itch Relief. I'd have to go back. There's actually a void in my life, and maybe if I were not making this podcast would fill that void for like the kind
you can listen to this too,
dirty humor, whatever. But there's a podcast that I listened to by a few friends of mine called The Waysiders a few years ago, and the Waysiders had this running thing about pudding farts. Pudding farts.
Is this farting out pudding or
no,
farting into pudding?
I always imagined it as farting into pudding, but I guess it could have been farting out pudding as well.
That's gotta have a lot of pudding, like in a bowl or whatever. Yeah. It would have to be a really big bowl.
Really big bowl, yeah.
To put your bare. I don't know.
See, yeah, even talking about it, I'm just like
it's very practical in the sense where you're filming a pornographic video, but it's not as practical when you're just like a regular Joe. It's like, oh, let's just fart in some pudding.
Yeah, I don't.
And then what do you put it back in the fridge and hope your roommate eats it?
Yes, especially if you're in college, which is where all of this stuff gets made. Speaking of, and I started to watch it the other night. And it just got really depressing, and I did not want to finish it. Was
the General So documentary?
No, it was on Netflix. It was, I think it's called Hot Girls Wanted, which is a documentary.
I watched that as well.
Is it depressing?
Yes.
Okay. Is it worth watching?
Yes.
Okay. Because I started to watch it, and I was like, oh man, I was trying to get out of a bad mood, and I think this is just going to make me worse.
It was,
And then, who's that? That's Rashida Jones.
Yeah, she was the one who produced it.
Okay,
yeah, she was. On Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, I know her from somewhere else.
And other things that I can't think of at the top of my head, but she's pretty fun.
Yeah, she is fun, and that's what drew me to it. I think I saw like a short little YouTube interview with her about it, and I was like, I should check that out.
It is good. It's kind of depressing,
right?
And it makes me not want to look at pornography as much, which is probably intended.
Probably part. Well, I mean, in the interview, of course, she doesn't necessarily say that. I think she.
No. I mean, like it's something that exists, but like it sucks. Like there aren't.
Yeah.
There
aren't any regulations.
I mean the way that it works now. I mean, it used to be there would be quote unquote porn stars in the Jackie Treehorn days of pornography, and the stars would actually make some money.
Right.
But these girls are making money, but they're not making a lot of money.
But I mean, it comes right down to,
and they're like sort of they're contractors. It's not like they're
right,
and
they don't get any benefits.
And thank God for Obamacare. I think kind of mandating that they get like
some kind of
health care because like there was a part where there was this.
Anyway,
bad stuff going on downstairs,
and
I'm not saying like disease or anything. I'm just saying like
bad stuff
hurt down there, and you got to go to the doctor.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, and I wonder how much of that change is a result of the web, which is this great thing. The web and how it democratizes.
It great, though?
It democratizes the ability to distribute. Fucking hate this word, but content, like any creative stuff, you're able to put it out there way easier than you ever were before. There are no gatekeepers keeping you out. But the problem, and there are problems with that side of it. But the problem is that everything that gets put out there for free. Not everything, but most things get put out there for free. And so, the people who are producing the new adult film are not making that much money. Therefore, they can't pass that much as much money as they would have in the heyday onto the performers, and therefore the performers, get even shittier treatment.
Yeah, because most websites are free.
Right,
and the clips are going to be up there for free, and the only, I guess, there's like revenue that could be come in.
There's ad revenue, I'm sure.
Ad revenue, and then there's if a girl's doing cam shows, I guess you can make some money that way.
And in theory, there's subscription revenue because these
there are still sites that are subscription based. Yeah,
but all it takes is and I'm sure there's a constant war between the subscription sites and the sort of free.
The
free
subscription sites advertise on the free sites.
They do. They
have to.
They have to now. But yeah, all it takes is one guy to go, or one subscriber to go on there and just pirate a whole bunch of them, throw them all up, and then
and then then you get how many people do you have working on your legal team that are to find all these pirated copies?
That's where all the money's going. So where does the money come from, and where does it go? And and I
support your local porn actor and pay for some pornography, go to your favorite porn star's Twitter or Patreon and give her a little cash to her, not through the whatever else.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I imagine porn stars have Patreons at this point.
They might.
We do. We're a bunch of whores.
Beyond that, though, again, I haven't seen the film. I would like to sit down and watch it. But there is this, to take it in a different turn, a really different turn. See if you can follow my line of thinking here.
Uh-oh.
It starts really early, this sort of obsession with stardom, with being a star, with being a singer or an actor or whatever. It used to be back in the day, Disney Channel shows were about or ABC shows before Disney did so many half-hour comedies. Used to be about families. Maybe there was a wacky neighbor, wacky friend, or something like that. Now,
Jerry, I saw a pig man, Jerry. A pig man.
Now at least 75% of the shows that my kids watch on the Disney Channel involve somebody who's a singer, or an actress, or a something, and none of the kids are normal. On 75% of these shows, there's no normal kid. And so these kids are brought up watching shows that are all about becoming a star, right? And then gradually, as they start to explore the internet, and God, it makes me uncomfortable even thinking about it, they find out about being other kinds of stars. And then you end up with the girls that are in this film, right? Who are obsessed with making a name for themselves, right? And then go out to California or Miami, right? That's where a lot of it takes place.
Yeah. Well, at least that's where the documentary did.
Yeah. They go there in hopes of becoming a star. And
I think the reason is because Florida doesn't have laws about
at the very beginning of
having to be used.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to see condoms in their pornography.
No. Yeah, so it worries me that it's going to be a continuing trend of people want to become stars. At what expense? What does being a star mean? I mean,
I think that's always existed, but I think the internet has the internet has amplified everything.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as how you can get content or get whatever,
right?
And then also it's amplified bullying. It's amplified this. It's amplified that, and it's made everything just kind of fucked up crazy.
Yeah. Everything is way more intense.
I remember because I'm a self-professed anime fan.
Yeah.
I mean, more broad anime in the past, but I kind of just stick to my One Piece at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like the anime stores in Harvard Square. There was like two of them. There's one, I think it was Anime Crash, and I forget what the other one, Tokyo Kid.
Yeah,
I think was the other one. I don't think either of them exist anymore. But those were like huge, and they had like Hong Kong like subtitled copies of like Dragon Ball that you could rent.
Yeah,
and there was like 3 or 4 episodes, and it was just like that was how you consumed anime back in the day. Like I mean, Ranma was one of those things that kind of like brought it into I mean, a lot of people don't know what it is at this point, but like back in like the mid 90s, like Ranma was sort of huge.
Yeah, it was certainly huge around this house.
Yeah, well, that's because John and I were fans.
You guys were huge fans, yeah.
And yeah, it was just something that just it kind of like Viz, like bringing out that series kind of like brought anime into sort of more of a mainstream, like, but that was still below the surface. But like things like Akira, Ghost in the Shell, that was like, oh, people are like, wow, what's this Japanese animation, and like that, but like you would see stuff like that in like a magazine or something like that, or like you would hear it from your friend, or you would go to Harvard Square and you'd be like, what's this anime store? And you would look around and like, that looks really cool. Right. And then you would go to the video store across the street or in the center of Chelmsford and rent the Tentacle Rape.
La Blue Girl.
No, it wasn't. It was Legend of the Overfiend.
Right, yes, yeah. We
would rent that and be like, oh, this is what anime is, huh? Or I think we originally called it anime or something.
Anime.
We're like, how are we supposed to say this?
Yeah.
You guys got that Jap anime?
God. Yeah, but I mean, like those stores disappear, and now you're out there on your own trying to find stuff. I mean, that's the other part of it is discoverability. Is like there's so much stuff out there. Where do you even begin? That's where things like not to get back on my my Apple fanboy wagon, but like that's where I've liked Apple Music because it's figured out, oh, he likes this kind of shit, so let's give him these suggestions. And I've listened to more music in the last month since it's been out than I've listened to in a very long time. Some of it's stuff that I've owned for ages, just reorganized into like the best hits from 1984 or like alt rock hits from 1995. Or
like the movie 1984 based on the novel 1984 by George Orwell?
No.
Who also wrote Animal Farm?
No, not that one.
You just learned something. Oh, you probably already knew that.
The more you know.
The more you know, things you already know.
I was like, there's a spot for the NBC jingle if I could find
You're going to just start putting sound effects into the show.
Dun, dun.
Dear Chris, I like it when you put sound effects.
Dear Chris. So we are at like 52 minutes. There were a few other things on the list.
We do a lightning round.
So I went to the Burlington Mall as a field trip. Speaking of malls, malls
with the family, or was it like what?
The girls and I, we tried to put this schedule into place 2 weeks ago now. Where we get out of the house for a couple hours a day, and it was wicked hot on Wednesday, and I didn't want to walk around a playground, which I think is what we'd done the day before. I just wanted to walk around someplace cool, but I'd been to all the other malls so often. I was like, hey, I wonder what's in Burlington. I haven't been down there in years.
You should have gone to the Natick Mall. It's like crazy swanky for half of it, and the other part is like the part that was there when I was going to school.
Well, Burlington is still the same structure that it was back when we were in high school, when I went a few times, but it is polished up in the same way that the Pheasant Lane Mall was going down the tubes for a while. Apple moved in. The rents.
Because Apple just restructured. It's not just
they're
like the gays moving into areas. They make it better.
It's not just that I'm a fanboy, but it literally is true. Like they went in, business went up in the mall, and they were able to afford to redo the top floor, which was really falling apart. Like the structure of the top floor of the Pheasant Lane Mall.
I remember like it was like the Big Dig. I got hit on the head with a thing that falling off the
Anyway, the Burlington...
I can't even think of the word.
The Thing. The Burlington Mall, nice. I would say not swanky, but one of the things I thought was interesting was it's much more kid-friendly because there's still a Disney store there. A lot of the Disney stores have gone out of business, but there's still a Disney store there. There's a Lego store there.
I've been to the Lego store.
And the Lego store is
I've actually
awesome.
gone in there and contemplated buying something as an adult.
I contemplated buying a lot of things.
There's like the Death Star, which is like $300.
There's like the Slave One, the Boba Fett's ship.
Yeah.
Like a $300. Oh my God. Yeah. And then they have the Rainforest Cafe.
Which is great for kids.
Your
brother used to work there.
Did he? I did not.
Yeah,
know
him
that.
and Rob, I think.
I did not remember that. And they also have the Cheesecake Factory, which I haven't been to in ages.
Which really disappointed me when I first went there because I thought it was going to be like an assembly line of like. And I got to thank my friend Sarah for figuring out what the name of that song was, and it's Powerhouse.
Powerhouse. Yes. By what artist?
It's just a classical piece of music,
okay.
and I forget who does it, but Powerhouse is the name of that song. So if you ever needed to find it, put it into, not you personally, anyone.
Yeah. No, the intern will put it into the show notes.
Grace! Always be selling, Chris. Always.
ABC. ABS? No, closing. ABC. Always be closing.
So selling.
What's the other one?
In closing.
What's the other one? ABBA.
Abcab.
I forget what the other one is. I went to the Burlington Mall. I did that on Wednesday, the same day you went and played pinball.
That was the same day.
That was the same day.
I should have just. Oh wait, no, you couldn't have brought the kids.
No, I could not have brought the kids.
Although you could have brought the kids, but you couldn't have been like hanging with us. I forgot to even mention. Like when we went back upstairs, because we were like, after we're done playing, after we got through our tokens, we were like, let's go back up and have another drink. And we got up there, and there was just all these cunty 20-somethings.
Oh.
And I was just like, what happened? There was like nobody there when we first got there. We were like, this is great. Wednesday night, blah, blah, blah. We come back up, and it's just mobbed with just douchey people.
Dudes.
No, there was women too.
Okay.
And I just, it's okay. I'm being equal opportunity in calling people cunts. They were all cunts.
Well, that sucks. It sucks that.
Yeah, we went back to his place and we watched a little Rick and Morty, which was fun.
Okay. Yeah, a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
We're recording this on a Friday.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make mention of that because people might be like, why aren't they talking about Wet Hot American Summer, which comes out on Netflix today?
With Paul Rudd. Boing.
It's hard to get my
Stop it!
Hard to get my train of thought back there. You mentioned Paul, and I'm all flustered.
You might have to bleep that.
Yeah. I will not be watching it at the gym. That was the last thing on the list because Netflix is apparently banned at my gym. So I've been rewatching stuff that I've already watched. So if everyone out there who's like, Chris goes to the gym and you may not even know this, but I go to the gym every day and I watch something while I'm on the treadmill, but I can't watch all the stuff that everyone's told me to watch on Netflix because they somehow block Netflix at the gym. So I'm stuck watching all the stuff I already own. And I watched this week the Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness, and we don't have time to talk about that. All I will say is that I don't understand why Into Dark. Well, I do and I don't. Why Into Darkness is much maligned by the geekerati. I know they love their Ratha Khan, but it's a pretty entertaining movie.
I think the reason why is it's not Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, it's Cumberbatch.
Am I the only person in the world that's not enthralled with that guy?
Well, you're not the only dude who's not enthralled with that guy, but most. This is again another broad generalization. Another broad generalization.
Ladies be
most
doing.
Most of the ladies I know are kind of enthralled with Benedict.
They got a little bit of dampness down there.
Most of them. That's all I'm saying.
A little moisture.
We got an email.
All right, let's finish this off with the email.
Subject.
Email. Dear Steve.
Subject, awesome sauce, from our friend Rob. Hey guys, I had a long drive to New York last weekend and got to catch up a bit on Hot, and just wanted to say that I was thoroughly entertained. I was actually bummed I couldn't join in the chat, but I didn't have a time machine. Wah, wah.
Well, you can be on the show anytime you want, buddy.
Anytime you want.
You got an open invitation. Just have to figure out when we're recording.
Yes, that's the trick. Couple of notes. All instances of the M word should desist.
You mean the thing that I just said just now?
Just now? Yeah, that one. We should, instead of bleeping, we should use the M word. Like
every time
we have to say,
you could say moist.
I could say no, but I'm saying, a couple minutes earlier when I had to bleep that person's name, I could have just
be Paul Moist.
Paul Moist, yeah, Paul Moist.
He's gonna hate this. Why did I send this email?
You guys are second point. You guys are a riot and get outrageously far from the current discussion. Thank you.
Well, we do that. I think that's why we are a very aptly named show.
Point number 3, definitely go with the burp sound effect instead of the beep. Now,
or the moist sound effect.
Moist sound effect. Now, would it be better to have like a moist sound, like something that was just kind of like something
that's really gushy, or just
that's
stirring macaroni.
Number 4, I had a Gansett in Hot's honor.
Yay! If they were only our sponsor.
If only they were our sponsor. And number 5, I seriously laughed out loud a lot. Can't wait to catch up on episodes 51 and 52. Congrats on a full year. Love,
hooray.
Rob.
Thanks, buddy. All right, that's the end of the show. Plugs.
Plug me.
He's singing to Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd and anybody else who is looking for me can find me on Twitter at ECC1977.
And I am on the Twitter as well. I am at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday IS Loser.
All one word.
.com.
No.
/tilde.
/tilde. I'm going to have to write that down and see if that domain name is available.
Probably.
It's a really long one. Like Steve. Like Paul Rudd.
Stop it.
You can find the show notes for the episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/5353.
And you can email us like Rob just did, hot@clarkwoods.com. Send us an email.
In the show notes, you can find links to support us and all the stuff that we do, including buying TNS's album, The Ape's Choice. I was about to say something else, which is not the name of...
Jerry, I saw an N-word!
I was about to say the name of one of your old podcasts, and I was like, no, that's not the name of their album. So yes, The Ape's Choice on all your major audio platforms. And I think that's it. I mean, I think we're really done now.
You got your Patreon too, and then you
Patreon.
Can donate to us, the show.
Yeah.
Give us a little cash. And
give us a little something.
A little taste. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. I'm going to go get my taste of Paul Rudd.
Gross. I'm going to do a hand fart.